Two girls went ghost hunting and never came home. Hey guys, what's going on, Dude here? I'm back with another video today. This video centers around two Japanese teenagers that went on a ghost hunt and they never came home. And it took a quarter of a century for their bodies to be found. So in Japan, there is a tradition that, to be honest, I think I would like very much because it's something that I do. It is called Kimodameshi. Our trusty friends over at Wikipedia define Kimodameshi as the following. Kimodameshi, test one's liver or test of courage, is a Japanese activity in which people explore frightening and potentially dangerous places to build up courage. Kimodameshi is usually played in the summer in group activities such as school club trips or camping. At night, groups of people visit scary places such as a cemetery, haunted houses, or a forest path to carry out specific missions there. So this story all centers around this cultural tradition. These two girls wanted to go on their own Kimodameshi adventure, but little did they know it would cost them their lives. This all took place in May of 1996. I believe May the 5th, a day before my second birthday. Megumi and Narumi decided that they were going to go to an abandoned spa hotel, Subono, that was left derelict in 1986. So by this point, it had been abandoned for a decade. And there were many stories and many whispers about this haunted location, how you may stumble across a ghost or two, a creak, a knock, unexplainable noises. So they thought this place is perfect. And it wasn't overly close to where they lived. They had to travel quite far, but they decided that this was going to be the location. Now, it has to be said, this has been a location, especially since this case, that has been synonymous with abandoned and haunted explorers. When the girls took this trip, it was amongst a holiday in Japan called the Golden Week, which is a seasonal holiday which is celebrated from late April into early May. So setting off from where they lived in Hime City, Narumi finished her shift at a convenience store, purchased a torch, which of course would be very useful for this adventure they're going on, and they began their travels in a black Subaru. Now, back in the 90s, mobile phones weren't as widespread or common as they are today. Instead, they used a piece of technology called a pager, which of course is no longer in circulation. The last message sent from those girls was via a pager, which simply read, "We are in Uozu," which was the location of this hotel spa. Now, admittedly, a little while before this message was sent, they were spotted in person at a petrol station. So the petrol station clerk was apparently the last eyewitnesses to the girls, and the pager message was the last message sent from the girls, or so that was thought in 1996. And then the trail runs cold because they're never seen or heard from ever again. And it took 2 days for the parents to think, okay, this is serious now. They don't seem to be coming back, and they reported it to the police. The police that were inundated with work from this Golden Week season thing that was going on. And so the police didn't really take it all that seriously. And also, because the girls were 19, their names couldn't be revealed to the public for a year, which obviously hurt the investigation because, well, if they couldn't spread the word or the faces or the names of these girls, how could they be identified should they have, I don't know, ran away or, been seen in cities farther afield than nearby to this spa. Police did investigate the local area. They went to the hotel spa where they found zero evidence that the girls were ever even there. And so this inspired many different theories, as you could imagine. Apparently in the 80s, North South Korean spies were kidnapping Japanese people. So this was a theory that was thrown around the rumor mill. There was also a big biker gang issue in the 90s, and it was thought that some of these biker gangs actually hung out near or inside this spa hotel. Did they have a run-in with a biker gang and it went sour and they were murdered? Perhaps, but there was no evidence of, you know, a murder scene. And where was the car? This black Subaru has just disappeared off the face of the earth. As well as this, of course, you know, some of the lighter theories, they went to a haunted location. Is this paranormal stuff legit? Did they somehow, I don't know, pass over into a different realm? Or, you know, did they open up a portal, or were they possessed? Or any of these possibilities were certainly circulating on the internet in the years that passed whilst this case went completely cold. And the whole story itself became like an urban legend that other people used to be inspired to go to this location for their own Kimodameshi adventures. March 2020, that's right, 24 years later, March 2020, police go to a port which is about 30 minutes away from the spa hotel, and they deploy a crane and remove a black Subaru with 2 bodies inside. Around 8 meters down. Now, the 2 bodies were, of course, basically unidentifiable because of the sheer amount of decay that had happened, because they had been in the water for 24 years. However, certain elements of DNA still remained, and they were able to identify the 2 girls were those girls that went missing in 1996, as well as a petrol station credit card that had Megumi's name on it. So they had the card, they had the bodies, they found the girls. But the story doesn't end here. We have to go back 6 years to 2014. What's going on here? Well, in 2014, 3 unidentified witnesses came forward to police in that area to say that they saw 2 girls in a black Subaru parked up in a car park which overlooked the body of water, the port of which the girls were finally found 6 years later. So these witnesses go to the police and they say, look, this is what happened, okay? We saw the 2 girls parked up in the car. The rear of the car was facing the water. As we approached this car, they slammed on the accelerator, the car was in reverse, and the car veered off the cliff into the water below. And we were in shock. We didn't know what to do, so we ran. And who knows, maybe they reasoned with themselves in their head that, you know, maybe they got out, maybe they were fine, or maybe they were just so scared that, you know, by simply walking up to this car and then driving off the edge, maybe they would be suspected of foul play and sent to jail for murder that they weren't responsible for. So the police, suspecting no foul play, accepted these claims and were apparently interviewed multiple times, according to police. But for some unknown reason, it's still not known, it took them 6 years to go to that body of water and pull the girls out. Nobody knows yet why it took the police this long. Was some of the witnesses close to a police officer there and they were covering for them? Was there something more sinister going on here? Were the witnesses actually not as innocent as they made themselves out to be, and in fact waited for the water to decay the bodies so it got to a point where they are now, whereby a cause of death couldn't be proven because there was too much damage to the corpses? But then again, if they murdered them, why would they ever come forward unless their conscience finally got the better of them? But this whole thing is still so bizarre, and still technically, even though the bodies have been found, it's still unsolved. Because no one actually knows what happened to those girls that night, and no one knows who these witnesses are. They're still unidentified. The parents of the girls have no idea. The police will not tell them who these witnesses are. And the mother was devastated because she kind of hoped, which is so sad. She hoped that her daughter had just ran away and she was living a better life somewhere else. Instead, she had to, you know, make peace with the fact that her daughter was alone and cold in that watery grave for nearly a quarter of a century. It's absolutely horrible. It's sad. It's terrible. And maybe we will never know what truly happened that night. But this is the story of Megumi and Narumi, who went to a haunted location and never came home. What do you think of this one, guys? Please do let me know down below. I kind of felt like this case kind of merged the two things I do on this channel, you know, the exploration of the haunted locations and the true crime. But let me know down below what you think. Any case you want me to cover, let me know. Anything you want me to do on this channel, let me know. Hit that like button, subscribe. We're less than 2,000 subscribers away from 100k, from that silver plaque, which would be absolutely amazing. Just hit 250,000 over on the Facebook as well. So yeah, things are going great. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I will see you very soon. Sweet one, geese.